The champagne was already flowing. Confetti cannons were being loaded. The Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl celebration party was just 3 hours away when Travis Kelce did something that would leave the entire sports world speechless. He walked out, not to another team, not to chase more money, but to answer a phone call that would change everything he thought he knew about winning. On the other end of that call was an 8-year-old girl named Lily, a girl he'd never met, battling something far more challenging than any NFL defense. Her request wasn't for an autograph or a photo. It was something so impossible, so unthinkable, that when Travis heard it, he hung up the phone, looked at his Super Bowl ring, and made a decision that would cost him everything. But what Lily asked for would soon reveal a secret that connected their lives in ways neither could have imagined. A secret that had been buried for 8 years. A secret that would explain why Travis Kelce, at the peak of his career, was willing to sacrifice it all for a little girl he'd never even met. What did she ask for? And why did it change the most celebrated athlete in America into someone the world barely recognized? This is that story, and it starts with a letter that should never have reached him. 3 weeks before the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce was used to fan mail. Thousands of letters arrived at the Chiefs' facility every week. Kids asking for autographs, adults seeking inspiration, marriage proposals from complete strangers. His assistant, Michelle, had a system for filtering through them. But this letter was different. It arrived on a Tuesday morning, hand-delivered by a Kansas City police officer who looked uncomfortable holding the pink envelope. The return address simply read, Children's Mercy Hospital, Room 314. Officer Martinez brought this, Michelle said, placing it carefully on Travis's desk. Said it was urgent. Travis looked up from his playbook, eyebrows raised. Police-delivered fan mail? That's a first. The girl's mother is a dispatcher, Officer Martinez explained. Sarah Thompson. She's been with KCPD for 12 years. When she told me about her daughter's situation, he trailed off, shaking his head. Just read it, man, please. After the officer left, Travis opened the envelope. Inside was a crayon drawing of a football field with 2 stick figures, one tall in a red jersey with 87 on it, one small with long hair. At the bottom, in shaky 8-year-old handwriting, Dear Mr. Kelce, my name is Lily Thompson. I'm 8, and I have something called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The doctors say I probably won't see my 9th birthday. I don't want an autograph or to meet you at the hospital like other sick kids. I want something different. I want to play catch with you, real catch. Not where you pretend I'm good, because I'm sick. I want you to throw the ball like you would to Patrick Mahomes. I want to run real routes and try to catch real passes. My mom says, you're the best tight end in the world. I want to see if I can catch a pass from the best, just once, before I can't. Can you please play catch with me? Not as a charity thing, as football players. Thank you, Lily Thompson P.S. My mom doesn't know I'm writing. She thinks asking for help makes us weak. But I think sometimes being brave means asking for what you really want. Travis read the letter 3 times. Something about Lily's words, the way she didn't want pity, the way she asked to be treated like a real player, struck him differently than any fan mail he'd ever received. He called the hospital. Children's Mercy, this is Rebecca. Hi, this is Travis Kelce. I received a letter from a patient named Lily Thompson in room 314. I'd like to visit her if possible. There was a long pause. Mr. Kelce? The football player? Yes, ma'am. Oh my. Let me transfer you to Dr. Martinez. He's Lily's oncologist. Dr. Martinez came on the line with a mix of excitement and caution. Mr. Kelce, I can't believe you're calling. Lily she's special, but I need to be honest about her condition. How bad is it? End-stage leukemia. We've tried everything. Chemotherapy, radiation, experimental treatment. Her body isn't responding any. We're looking at weeks, maybe a month or 2 if we're lucky. Travis felt his chest tighten. And she wants to play catch? That girl has more fight in her than most adults I know. She was a star player on her youth flag football team before she got sick. The coaches said she had real talent, better hands than most high school players. When can I see her? Mr. Kelce, visiting terminal children can be emotionally difficult. Are you sure? Doctor, I'll be there in an hour. Travis hung up and stared at the letter again. There was something about Lily's handwriting, something about the way she formed her letter that felt familiar, but he couldn't place why. An hour later, Travis walked through the sterile halls of Children's Mercy Hospital, carrying a football and wearing his practice jersey. Nurses and staff members did double takes, but he barely noticed. His mind was focused on room 314. He knocked softly. "Come in," came a weak but clear voice. Travis opened the door and saw her, a tiny figure in a hospital, bald from chemotherapy, but with bright green eyes that lit up when she saw him. She looked smaller than her 8 years, but there was something in her expression that reminded him of veteran players he'd known. A quiet toughness. "You came," she whispered, disbelief in her voice. "You asked," Travis replied, pulling up a chair beside her bed. "And I always answer when a fellow player calls for backup." Lily's smile was radiant. "You really think I'm a player?" "I think anyone who asks for the ball thrown like it matters is a player. The question is, are you ready to show me what you've got?" For the next hour, they talked football. Lily knew stats, strategies, even some of Travis's college highlights. She wasn't just a sick kid who liked sport. She understood the game at a level that impressed him. As their visit ended, Travis made her a promise. "Next week, when you're feeling stronger, we're going to that practice field behind the hospital, and I'm going to throw you passes like you're trying out for the Chiefs." Lily's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Really? Not pretend throws? Real throws. But you better bring your A game because I don't go easy on anybody." As Travis left the hospital that day, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story. Something about Lily felt connected to him in a way that went beyond football. He had no idea that his life was about to change in ways he never could have imagined. Because what Travis didn't know was that Lily Thompson wasn't just any sick child reaching out to her hero. She was the daughter of someone from his past, someone whose memory he carried with him every single day. And in 2 weeks, that truth would force him to make an impossible choice between his career and a promise he didn't even know he'd made. 1 week later, practice field behind Children's Mercy Hospital. The morning air was crisp as Travis arrived at the small practice field behind the hospital. He'd arranged for a photographer friend to document what he thought would be a simple, feel-good story. A sick kid getting to play catch with her hero. He had no idea he was about to receive a request that would turn his world upside down. Lily was waiting for him, dressed in a tiny Chiefs jersey with his number 87. Despite her frail appearance, she had football cleats on and was stretching like she'd seen the pros do on TV. "You ready for this?" Travis called out, tossing the ball up and catching it. "I've been practicing my routes in my head every night," Lily said with surprising seriousness. "Mom got me these cleats from the thrift store. They're 3 sizes too big, but they make me feel faster." For 30 minutes, they ran simple drill. Travis was amazed. Despite her condition, Lily had natural instinct. She could read his body language, anticipated where the ball would be, and had surprisingly good hands for someone so small. "Okay, one more route," Travis said, breathing harder than he expected. This kid was pushing him. "Run a post pattern. I'm going to throw it hard, so be ready." Lily lined up like a pro, counted to 3, and broke toward the middle of the field. Travis threw a perfect spiral, not the gentle lob he'd planned, but a real pass. Lily tracked it over her shoulder and made a catch that would have impressed college scouts. "Touchdown!" she yelled, spiking the ball with pure joy. Travis jogged over, genuinely proud. "Kid, that was NFL level. Where did you learn to—" "My dad taught me," Lily said quietly, her joy suddenly fading. "Before he died." Travis knelt down to her level. "What happened to your dad?" Lily sat on the grass, pulling her knees to her chest. "He was a soldier. He died when I was 3, but Mom has videos of him teaching me to catch. She says I have his hands." "What was his name?" "James Thompson. But everyone called him Tank because he was so big and strong. Mom says he could have played college football if he hadn't joined the Army instead." Travis felt a chill run down his spine. Tank Thompson. The name hit him like a linebacker's blindside hit. "Lily," he said carefully, "did your dad ever mention playing football in college? At the University of Cincinnati?" Lily's eyes widened. "Yeah. How did you—" Travis's hands began to shake. Tank Thompson had been his roommate at UC, his best friend, the guy who'd saved his life during a hazing incident their freshman year, the same Tank Thompson who'd enlisted right after graduation and died in Afghanistan when Travis was starting his NFL career. "Oh my God," Travis whispered. "What's wrong?" Lily asked, concerned by the change in his expression. Travis pulled out his phone and showed her an old photo. Two college kids in football uniforms, arms around each other's shoulder. Huge smile. Tank Thompson and Travis Kelce, 2010. Lily gasped, "That's my dad! You knew my dad!" "Lily, your dad didn't just know me. He saved my life. I tried to find his family after he died, to help them, but the Army said the records were classified because of the circumstances of his death." Tears streamed down Lily's face. "You were his friend? His college roommate he always talked about in his letters to Mom? Tank used to call me Big Dream because I always said I'd play for Kansas City one day. He'd joke that when I made it to the Chief, he'd move to Kansas City so his kids could watch their Uncle Travis play." They sat in stunned silence, both trying to process this impossible coincidence. Finally, Lily spoke. "Travis, I need to ask you something. Something bigger than playing catch. Anything, kid. Anything." Lily took a deep breath, her small hands fidgeting with the football. "I'm going to die soon, maybe in a few weeks, and there's something I want to do before I can't anymore." "What is it?" "I want to play in a real game, not flag football, not pretend. I want to line up against real players and run real routes, score a real touchdown." She looked up at him with desperate hope. "I want to play for the Kansas City Chiefs, just for one play, in a real game." Travis felt his heart stop. "Lily, that's impossible. The NFL doesn't allow—" "I know it's impossible," she interrupted. "But so was you knowing my dad. So was me catching that pass just now. So was Tank Thompson's little girl meeting his best friend." Her voice grew stronger. "Dad always said impossible just means nobody's been brave enough to try." Travis stared at this 8-year-old girl, his best friend's daughter, asking him to do something that would require breaking every rule in professional sport. "Lily, if I could make that happen, if there was a way, it would probably end my career. The NFL would ban me for life." "I know," she said quietly, "and I can't ask you to do that. But I had to ask, because Dad always said you were the kind of person who would try to do impossible things for people you love." That word, love, hit Travis like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just any sick child anymore. This was Tank's daughter. Tank, who had taken a beating meant for Travis during fraternity hazing. Tank, who had given up his own football dreams to serve his country. Tank, who had died protecting other soldiers in a war zone. Travis looked at Lily's hopeful face and realized he was looking at the daughter of a hero who had never gotten the chance to see his child grow up. "Lily," he said finally, "let me make some phone call." "Really? Your dad once told me that family isn't just blood. It's the people you'd do anything for. You're Tank's daughter. That makes you my family." As they walked back toward the hospital, Travis's mind was already racing. He had 2 weeks until the Super Bowl, the biggest game of his career. If he was going to do something impossible, if he was going to honor Tank's memory and give his daughter her dream, he'd have to risk everything. But first, he needed to meet Lily's mother, because what he was considering would change all their lives forever. And he had a feeling that Sarah Thompson, Tank's widow, was going to have something to say about her daughter's impossible dream. That evening, the Thompson family apartment. Travis stood outside a modest apartment complex in Kansas City's East Side, holding a folder of documents and photos he'd dug up from his college years. His hands were shaking, not from nerves about what he was about to propose, but from what he'd discovered about Tank Thompson's death. The truth was worse than he'd imagined. Sarah Thompson opened the door looking exhausted. She was still in her police dispatcher uniform, having just finished a double shift. Her eyes widened when she saw Travis. "Mr. Kelce, what are you doing here? Is Lily okay?" "She's fine, but we need to talk about Tank." Sarah's face went pale. She let him in, and Travis could immediately see the sacrifice in every corner. A small apartment, military honors on the wall, a photo of Tank in his army dress blues, and medical bills stacked on a kitchen table that had seen better days. "Lily's sleeping," Sarah said quietly. "She's been talking about you non-stop since this morning. Says you knew her father?" "Sarah, Tank Thompson was my best friend, my college roommate, the man who saved my life." Sarah sank into a chair, tears welling in her eyes. "You're the one he always talked about. Travis Big Dream Kelce. He said you were going to be famous someday. Why didn't you ever reach out? After he died?" Sarah's jaw tightened. "The Army told me his death was classified. They said his unit was involved in a classified operation and that his records were sealed. They gave me a flag and a pension and told me to move on." Travis opened his folder and pulled out newspaper clipping, official documents, and photos he'd obtained through his agent's connection. Sarah, Tank didn't just die in combat. He died saving an entire village from a terrorist attack. Single-handedly held off 20 insurgents so civilians could evacuate. He should have received the Medal of Honor. What? The operation was classified not because it was secret, but because it exposed massive intelligence failures that could have embarrassed high-ranking officials. They buried Tank's heroism to cover their own mistake. Sarah read through the document, her hands trembling. He was a hero? He was the hero, and they stole his recognition to protect their career. Travis leaned forward. But that's not why I'm here. Then why? Lily asked me to do something impossible. She wants to play in a real NFL game. One play, one touchdown. Before she dies, Sarah finished, her voice breaking. I want to make it happen. Sarah stood up abruptly. Absolutely not. Sarah, no! She turned to face him, anger flashing in her eyes. Do you have any idea what we've been through? The medical bills, the treatments, the false hopes? I won't let you give my daughter another impossible dream just so you can feel good about yourself. This isn't about me feeling good. This is about Tank. Don't you dare use my dead husband to justify this. Travis stood up too, matching her intensity. Tank saved my life in college. He took a beating that was meant for me during hazing because I was too small to survive it. He spent 3 days in the hospital because he wouldn't let them hurt me. Sarah's anger faltered slightly. Before he deployed, he made me promise something. He said if anything happened to him, I should look after his family. But the army records were sealed, and I couldn't find you. I've been carrying that guilt for 8 years. What guilt? The guilt that Tank died protecting others while I was living his dream. He should have been the one playing professional football. He was the better player, the better man. Instead, he chose to serve his country, and I chose to chase fame. Travis's voice broke as he continued. I've won Super Bowl, made millions, been celebrated by millions of people, but I've never done anything as brave as what Tank did every single day of his life. Sarah wiped away tears, her anger transforming into something else. Lily is dying, Sarah. The doctors gave her weeks. This isn't about false hope. This is about giving Tank's daughter one moment of pure joy before she goes to be with her father. You'd risk your career? I'd risk everything, because that's what Tank would have done for my daughter if our situations were reversed. Sarah was quiet for a long moment, staring at the photos of Tank that covered their walls. There's something else, she said finally. Something I never told Lily about her father. What? Sarah walked to a closet and pulled out a sealed box. Inside were letters, dozens, all addressed to Travis Kelce. Tank wrote you letters every month for 2 years after he deployed. He never sent them because he said you were too busy being famous to care about a soldier. Travis opened one of the letters with shaking hand. Big dream. Saw you catch that touchdown against the Broncos last week. Made me proud to know you, brother. I'm writing this from Afghanistan, thinking about what we used to talk about, how football was just preparation for real life. I've got a daughter now, Lily. She's 2 and already trying to catch everything I throw at her. Sarah says she has my hand, but your determination. I hope she gets the chance to meet you someday. I tell her bedtime stories about her Uncle Travis, who plays football for the Kansas City Chiefs. If something happens to me over here, promise me you'll look after them. Not with money or charity, but with the kind of brotherhood we had in college. Family takes care of family. Your brother always. Tank P.S. I'm teaching Lily to say, touchdown Travis, as her first words. Sarah's not happy about it. Travis couldn't finish reading through his tears. He wanted you to be part of her life, Sarah said softly, even when he thought you'd forgotten about him. I never forgot, not for a single day. Sarah looked at her sleeping daughter's room, then back at Travis. If you do this, if you somehow make this impossible thing happen, what comes after? When the NFL bans you, when the media destroys you, when you lose everything, then I'll have finally kept my promise to Tank, and I'll have given his daughter something nobody can ever take away. A moment when she felt invincible. Sarah closed her eyes, weighing a decision that would change everything. What do you need from me? Permission to break every rule in professional sports. And trust that I'll catch your daughter when she falls. Sarah looked one more time at Tank's photo, then at the medical bills on her table, then at her daughter's room where a little girl was dreaming of impossible touchdown. James always said you're crazy enough to try anything, she whispered. Lily gets that from both of you. Is that a yes? That's a yes. But Travis, she grabbed his arm. If this breaks her heart worse than it's already broken, I will personally make sure you never play football again. Travis nodded solemnly. If I let her down, I'll deserve whatever you do to me. As Travis left the apartment that night, he pulled out his phone and made a call that would change everything. Coach Reed, it's Travis. I need to meet with you tomorrow. I'm about to ask you to do something that might get us both thrown out of the NFL. What are you talking about, Travis? I'm talking about one play. One impossible play for a little girl who deserves to feel like her dad. A real American hero. The line was quiet for a long moment. Come to my office first thing in the morning. And Travis, bring a good explanation. Because what you're suggesting sounds like it's going to cost us everything. As Travis hung up, he realized he was about to find out if the Kansas City Chiefs organization valued wins and championships more than they valued doing what was right. The answer would determine whether Lily Thompson got her impossible dream or whether her dying wish would remain just that, impossible. 1 week before the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs headquarters, Coach Andy Reid stared at Travis Kelce in complete disbelief. Around the conference table sat the team owner, Clark Hunt, the GM, and 2 lawyers. Everyone looked stunned. Let me understand, Coach Reid said slowly. You want us to sneak an 8-year-old cancer patient into the Super Bowl and have her run a play during the actual game. That's correct, Travis said without hesitation. Travis, we're talking about the Super Bowl, GM Brett Veach said. The most watched sporting event in the world, which is exactly why it mattered, Travis replied. Lily Thompson isn't just any sick kid. She's the daughter of Tank Thompson, a Medal of Honor level hero who died protecting innocent people in Afghanistan. Travis placed a folder on the table. Tank saved an entire village. He held off 20 terrorists by himself so civilians could escape. He should have statues built in his honor. Instead, his daughter is dying unknown and unrecognized. Owner Clark Hunt spoke up. Travis, what you're asking would violate 50 NFL regulations. The league would strip us of the championship. Mr. Hunt, what's a championship worth if we sacrifice our humanity to win it? The room fell silent. Tank gave up his NFL dreams to serve his country. His widow works double shifts to pay medical bills. His daughter faces death with more courage than most grown men. Travis's voice grew passionate. We have a chance to give this hero's family one moment of pure joy. The NFL will never approve this, the PR head said. Then we don't ask for approval, Travis said quietly. We run one play. We accept the consequence because some things matter more than league approval. Coach Reid removed his glasses. You're talking about ending your career, all our careers, for one play. Yes, I am. Travis pulled out his phone and showed them a video of Lily catching a pass, her face lighting up with pure joy. That's why, because in that moment, she wasn't dying, she was flying. Clark Hunt was quiet for a long moment. What exactly are you proposing? Fourth quarter, game decided. We call timeout. Bring Lily onto the field. Patrick throws her a touchdown pass. We take whatever punishment comes after. The head referee is Mike Stevens, Travis added. His son died of leukemia 3 years ago. I think he might understand. Coach Reid walked to the window. Travis, what you're asking goes beyond football. Tank risked his life for stranger. The least we can do is risk our careers for his daughter. After several minutes of silence, Clark Hunt spoke. I need 24 hours to think about this. Mr. Hunt, Travis said, sometimes the biggest victories happen when you stop playing it safe. That night, Travis sat staring at his Super Bowl ring. In 12 hours, he'd know whether the Chiefs would help him keep his promise or whether he'd be doing it alone. Either way, he was going to do it. Because some promises are worth more than championships. Super Bowl Sunday, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami. The Kansas City Chiefs led 28-14 with 3 minutes left. The game was over, but 102 million viewers were still watching when something unprecedented happened. Travis jogged to the sideline and whispered to Coach Reid, "It's time." In a luxury box above, Lily Thompson sat in a tiny Chiefs uniform, noticeably weaker, but eyes bright with excitement. Coach Reid called timeout and gathered his team. Gentlemen, we've won this game, but we have a chance to do something more important. Make a dying little girl's dream come true. Travis stepped forward. Her name is Lily Thompson, 8 years old, terminal cancer, daughter of my best friend who died in Afghanistan. She wants to catch a pass in a real NFL game. What do you need? Patrick Mahomes asked immediately. Trust me, and understand this might end our careers." Every player nodded without hesitation. Head referee Mike Stevens, whose own son had died of leukemia, received the most unusual request in Super Bowl history. When Travis explained who Lily was, Stevens looked up at the boxes, then back at the field. "One play," he said quietly, "but I never saw anything." Security escorted a small figure in a Chiefs uniform to field level. Lily Thompson walked onto the field with the determination of someone who belonged there. The crowd of 65,000 fell silent as they realized a child was joining the huddle. "Hi," Lily said to Patrick. "Travis says you're going to throw me a touchdown." Patrick knelt down. "Are you ready to make the catch of your life?" "I've been ready my whole life," she replied with surprising maturity. The Chiefs lined up, Travis split wide, little Lily in the slot. As 65,000 people realized what was happening, they rose in spontaneous applause. Patrick took the snap and looked right, where Lily was running a simple slant toward the end zone. The opposing defense stepped aside, creating a clear path. Patrick's pass was perfect, a gentle spiral that dropped into Lily's hand as she crossed the goal line. Touchdown. Lily spiked the ball, raised her arms, and was swept up in a celebration including both teams. Travis reached her first, lifting her onto his shoulders as confetti somehow began falling. But what broke 102 million hearts was when Lily looked into the camera and said, "Dad, I caught it. I caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Are you watching?" The NFL faced an impossible decision. How do you punish a team for fulfilling a dying child's wish? The video had 50 million views within an hour. Lily's touchdown trended worldwide. Make-A-Wish donations increased 3,000%. Instead of punishment, the NFL announced the Tank Thompson Foundation and Lily's Dream Program. 2 weeks later, Lily passed away peacefully, still wearing her Chiefs jersey. Her last words, "Tell Travis I'll teach Dad how to catch passes in heaven." At her funeral, attended by the entire Chiefs organization and broadcast nationally, Travis spoke about two heroes, Tank, who gave his life for strangers, and Lily, who reminded a nation what courage looked like. "Tank saved my life in college. Lily saved my soul in the Super Bowl." Some victories are measured in points, others in promises kept and dreams fulfilled. The NFL retired jersey number 87 in Lily's honor, the first time for someone who wasn't a professional player. Today, children fighting their own battle watch Lily's touchdown and remember they too can fly, even if only for a moment, because sometimes a moment is enough to last an eternity.